and to all the non-Muslims, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate all the support. Over the past 2 months, we've all witnessed the oppression of the Palestinian people, the horrors, the bombardments. It has been truly terrible to watch from afar. But in spite of all of that, we've also seen something amazing from the Palestinian people, and that is their patience, their perseverance, their determination. And when I saw all of that, I felt compelled to sit down on Monday and write a poem. It is called The Patience of the Palestinians. An old Jewish man apologized today for the dehumanizing, barbaric way that Israel is relentlessly bombing away, killing hundreds of innocents every day. I said, no need to apologize. You didn't cause this genocide. Zionists are the ones with all the lies to cover up their brutal crimes. Would we demand that Christians say they are sorry for Timothy McVeigh? Would we blame the Bible for the KKK, the Crusades, the Holocaust, the LRA? It's past time we learn to separate the Zionist from true Jewish faith. The Torah certainly doesn't tolerate Israel's cruel apartheid state. Old Palestine had passports, markets and currency, cities and beaches, beautiful universities. People of three faiths live together in harmony, a far cry from how things are going currently. Palestine was such a beautiful land. Jews, Christians and Muslims lived hand in hand. The Arabs sadly just didn't understand what the British Empire had slyly planned. Israel began with the Balfour Declaration, England's attempt at Muslim extermination. They tricked the Arabs with promises of their own nation. They lied, a free Palestine with self-determination. But alas, just like with the Irish and the Aborigines, racist English policies hurt India and the Chinese. South Africa was hit hard, as were the Burmese. All broken promises and false guarantees. That empire of the sun left colonies of misery. Even America was founded with settler mentality. The British profited greatly from African slavery. Nearly every major conflict traced back to one country. The Holocaust saw 6 million die. Never again was the rallying cry. One would assume that the Jews who survived would use their own history as their guide. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising of 1943. Brave Jewish resistance fighters against the Nazis. Vastly outnumbered, little hope for victory. Their single largest revolt went down in history. World War II ended, liberated at last. The Jews needed to settle somewhere and fast. America and Europe rejected their request, turned their boats away, leaving them aghast. Jewish refugees showed up at a Palestinian shore. Don't destroy our hopes, their large white sign implored. With nowhere else to turn, Palestine opened her doors. The Arabs welcomed the survivors of Europe's second war. Slowly but surely the tide started turning. The British mandate expired, and without a warning, being a guest turned into a deep yearning. The fires of greed in their hearts started burning. All of a sudden, Zionists took charge and took control. Part of the land was not enough. They needed the whole. The state of Israel was founded on the land that they stole. Of course, the nearby nations could only think of revolt. A land without a people, for a people without a land. It's a bald-faced lie, I tell you. You must understand. It's rhetoric, deception, dishonest propaganda. From 1948, Israel planned, but Palestine will withstand. The Jewish faith says, let justice prevail. Yet in the Holy Land, Zionists have failed. They kill, they steal, they leave a destructive trail. They even put innocent young children in jail. 75 years of illegal oppression. Israel stealing all of their possessions. Murders, arrest, torture, and aggression. funeral procession after funeral procession. Just put yourself in Palestinian shoes. Trust me, it's not a life you would choose. From the cradle to the grave, they are being abused by Zionists falsely claiming to be rightly guided Jews. The 7th of October is a normal reaction to decades of neglect and worldwide inaction. The killing that day is a tiny fraction compared to Israel's mighty military action. Why are we still discussing proportionality after 75 years of savage brutality? Should Palestine's patience last eternity while the world forgets about our humanity? Enough is enough, the world must wake up. Children's bodies shouldn't be stored in an ice cream truck. A father pulling his daughter's legs, but her head is stuck, wedged between cement. Enough is enough. When IDF terrorists gave the strict orders, 30 minutes to evacuate Al-Nasser Hospital, even the doctors, premature babies slowly rotted in incubators, bones protruded from decaying flesh and soiled diapers. We all saw the father who held his kids' pieces in 2 bags, the dying children whose skin looks like torn bloody rags. Israeli bombs versus children's limbs is quite savage. Hard to watch, harder to look away from the awful carnage. When the mom's body was wheeled away on the stretcher, her little son stood beside her, feeling quite wretched. Do you think his future aspirations are still to be a dentist? No, of course not. He will devote his life to avenge her. We all watched in pain at the young grieving mother's face as she held her shrouded infant in a tight embrace. She softly whispered words of love that truly resonate. At least we can take solace that we know this baby's fate. Then there is the grandfather of 3-year-old Reem, who galvanized the world with his big bushy beard. The Western media associates that Taliban beard with fear, but he destroyed that stereotype with his genuine tears. In videos of Reem's short life, we hear her sweet laughter. She runs from her grandfather, and he chases her faster. She was killed by an Israeli airstrike, yet another disaster. But her grandfather's patience is a lesson for the hereafter. His sweet goodbye to her lifeless body broke the internet. People worldwide marveled at his tenderness as he held her precious body in his arms and kissed her and said, "I wished that she was only asleep, but sadly she is dead." Every bomb that falls just strengthens their perseverance. Palestinians are the masters of the art of resilience. They will never give up, and their strong adherence to our faith, Islam, makes all the difference. That is Israel's mistake. They will surely realize that grenades and guns will not save lives. If they worry about terrorism, they should raise their eyes and look in the mirror at their own sneaky lies. Netanyahu can throw bombs and drop white phosphorus, but he doesn't know that we have a stronger power with us. Allah is our sustainer, our helper high above us. We do not live on this earth just to get prosperous. Muslims submit wholeheartedly to the will of our Creator. This life is only a test that we accept from the originator. Netanyahu will never succeed by being an exterminator, because the one above us is the only ultimate illuminator. This genocide is different because for every life he took, a new video pops up on Twitter and Facebook. People across the world can easily take a look at war crimes, murder, and the records of his book. What book, you ask? We all have 2 angel scribes, recording the good and the bad deeds of our lives. Brave journalists are offering their lives as sacrifice to record clear evidence of Netanyahu's war crimes. Israel is worried about the TikTok generation. Netanyahu can't hide behind a lack of information. All his atrocities are exposed for condemnation. His words, his actions, his bribes, his administration. No electricity, no food, no water, no fuel. How could a democratic government be so cruel? They said Palestinians are less than an animal. In Islam, even animal abuse is considered abominable. So when will Netanyahu be charged with breaking international law when there is no mistaking the crimes he committed, the resolution violations? When can we depend on the United Nations to enforce the unalienable basic human rights? Fairly, no difference between blacks and whites. Equality and freedom are two things that unite peace-loving people with justice in their sights. From the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, we will never allow another catastrophe. Faithful Palestinians are not going to flee, but we have a part to play. You and I, we must stand up proudly and loudly demand that international organizations take a firm stand, that governments stop bribing and seek to understand money is not worth people's lives and their land. Speaking of money, did you recently realize how much oil wealth underneath Gaza lies? Don't think Biden doesn't have his greedy eyes fixated on the aftermath of destruction, his prize. So far, it's been 63 days of bloody war, 20,000 dead and thousands unaccounted for. Does the US and UK want them to suffer even more, to pad their pockets with riches galore? Follow the money trail and you will see Israel just offered an oil contract to BP. British Petroleum, one of the world's largest companies, is about to steal the wealth that belongs to Gaza's sea. Open your eyes, America, take a good look around. Israel's popularity is quickly losing ground. As increasingly large protests across the world abound, facts are uncovered and the truth will be found. For all the non-Muslims standing here today, I ask you to stop and think before it is too late. Islam is a religion of peace. Won't you contemplate when our children die, why we say God is great? I sincerely invite you to go read the Quran. Go learn more about Palestine, the Holy Land. Find out what it means to be a woman or a man who knows that everything is part of Allah's plan. Islam is an instant blessing, a righteous path to follow. It teaches us our actions must be sincere, not hollow. We must stay steadfast, resolute, not succumb to sorrow. If we all work together, there will be a better tomorrow, inshallah.